You're listening to the 8 Digital Podcast, where we decode the headlines and dig deep into the stories shaping our world. But today, we are going to talk about something different. In fact, a lot different. Today, we're unpacking the essentials of financial well-being, from building a rock-solid budget and stashing away an emergency fund. We'll break down the most popular budgeting methods, explore the best apps for tracking every rupee and dollar, and show you how small tweaks can raise your income and lower your stress. We'll also touch on smart borrowing, smart saving, and those first, often confusing steps into investing. Whether you're a recent grad, a growing family, or just tired of wondering where your money went, stick around. By the end of this discussion, you'll have a practical, holistic roadmap to take control of your financial future. Okay, let's unpack this. We often talk about global trends, big events, but today, we're zooming in on something intensely personal: your money. Why does financial well-being matter so much in our daily lives? It feels like it's about more than just managing numbers. It's about independence, security, and real freedom, isn't it?
It absolutely is. You've touched on something fundamental there. Financial wellness isn't just about, stacking cash. It's really about building a robust buffer against life's inevitable curveballs, keeping your stability.
Right, the unexpected stuff.
Exactly. Consider those unexpected moments like big healthcare costs that your standard plan might not fully cover, or even just sudden inflation hitting your grocery bill. These things can seriously test anyone's financial security, even if you think you're being careful.
Mm-hmm.
I often think of this story about Mrs. W. She was 93, and her constant worry about making ends meet was just heartbreaking. Even with some savings, rising food prices, rent, it was all diminishing quickly. And Medicare didn't cover everything she needed. Her story really drives home why having a financial roadmap isn't just for someday. It's for everyone, right now.
That's such a powerful example. And it really connects to what I think many of us have felt recently. Remember all the uncertainty during, say, the pandemic? That was a massive wake-up call for so many about needing that financial safety net. A solid plan B or maybe even plan C.
Precisely. Those times really showed us, didn't they, how much more secure people are when they have an emergency fund, a good handle on their budget, a clear plan. It really is a roadmap, like you said, not a rigid set of instructions.
Flexible.
Yeah, it's about being proactive, taking control, building stability, rather than just, waiting for a crisis. That proactive stance, it really empowers you. It gives you choices you might not have otherwise.
Okay, so if we're building this roadmap, where do we even start? It sounds simple, but I think many of us, myself included sometimes, don't really know where every single dollar or rupee goes. How do we actually start figuring that out?
Well, the foundational step, is knowing your net income, what actually lands in your bank after taxes, deductions, all that. But the real insight comes from tracking your spending. It's surprisingly easy for those daily coffees or streaming subscriptions to just slip by.
Oh, yeah. They add up fast.
They really do. Like just $25 a week eating out. That's $1,300 a year. Gone. A smart way to begin is just looking at your bank and credit card statements, say the last 3 months. It's not about judging yourself. It's just about seeing the patterns. Where does your money actually flow?
Okay, so once we've done the detective work on our spending, what's next? Are there established methods or popular playbooks for organizing it all?
Absolutely. Think of them as different styles, different flavors of financial organization. One really popular one is a 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs: housing, groceries, minimum payments, 30% for wants: entertainment, shopping, vacations, that fun stuff. And then the last 20% is for savings or maybe paying down extra debt.
And you can adjust those percentages.
Oh, definitely. You can flex them to fit your life, especially if you live somewhere expensive or have a big savings goal you're chasing. Then there's the envelope budget. This is great for people who kind of struggle with impulse spending. Traditionally, you'd use physical cash in envelopes for different categories. Envelopes empty, spending stops.
Right. Very intangible.
Yeah. But a modern twist, which I think works really well, is using separate checking accounts with debit cards for categories, like digital envelopes.
Oh, I like that. Digital envelopes. That adds discipline without needing actual cash.
Exactly. And for the really meticulous folks, there's the zero-based budget. Here, every single dollar gets a job. Income minus expenses equals zero. Every cent is accounted for, spent, or saved.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It takes commitment, but it gives you total clarity. And lastly, for busy people who like simplicity, there's the pay yourself first method. Super simple idea. Automate a set amount into savings first, right when you get paid, before anything else. Then you cover necessities, and whatever's left over is for wants. It kind of flips the usual script.
So with all these methods, are there quick ways to actually track everything? Because let's be honest, manual spreadsheets aren't always practical.
That's where tech is your friend. It simplifies things hugely. Tools like Simplify or Monarch are pretty great. They give you a quick overview, track transactions, categorize spending automatically, many link right to your bank so it pulls the data in. And there are free options too, like Credit Karma or NerdWallet. They're super popular. They help track spending, but also give you insights into your credit score. Helps you see the whole picture.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about what many financial folks say is the absolute foundation of financial health, the emergency fund. Why is this thing so critical? Why do people basically shout about it?
Yeah, we do tend to emphasize it. It really boils down to one word: resilience. An emergency fund is your shield. Life throws curveballs, right? Medical crisis, car repair, job loss.
Yep, always something.
Exactly. This fund stops you from having to go into debt when that stuff happens. And crucially, it gives you freedom. Freedom to make better choices. Maybe take a job you're passionate about, even if it pays less at first, without that immediate financial stress. Without it, people get stuck in these high-interest debt cycles. So hard to break free. It's really about peace of mind.
Okay, peace of mind sounds good. So how much are we talking about? What's the magic number for this safety net?
Well, most experts generally recommend aiming for 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. How much exactly depends on your situation, your job stability, income consistency, just your personal comfort level. Figure out your essential monthly costs: housing, food, transport, and multiply that by 3 or maybe 6. That's your target.
That number can feel pretty big, maybe a bit daunting, especially if you're just starting out. Any practical steps to build it without feeling totally overwhelmed?
Absolutely. It's all about breaking it down, chunking it. First, set clear goals. Don't just say save money, make it specific, $15,000 for 6 months, whatever your number is. Then break that down into smaller monthly goals. Visuals help too. A savings tracker, a chart on the fridge, surprisingly motivating.
Yeah, seeing progress helps.
Totally. Second, use your budget. That budget we talked about, it's your guide. Helps you find where you can cut back and redirect that cash to the emergency fund. Third, and this is key, automate savings. Set up automatic transfers, checking to savings, right after payday. If you don't see it, you're less likely to spend it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Makes sense.
Fourth, pick the right account. Don't just stick it anywhere. Look for high-yield savings accounts. Let your money grow a bit faster. And always make sure it's insured. FDIC insurance in the U.S., or whatever the equivalent is where you live, protects your money if the bank has problems. Up to a certain limit, usually pretty high. And finally, review and adjust. Life changes, right? So review your fund maybe once a year. Does it still cover your current expenses? Adjust if needed.
Got it. Any quick wins, like unexpected ways to boost that fund faster?
Definitely. Go back to those non-essential expenses you found earlier. Cut them, redirect the money. Maybe pick up a short-term side gig. Dedicate all that income straight to the fund. Any windfalls, tax refund, bonus, birthday money, put it right in there. And, hey, celebrate the milestones, hitting your first $1,000. That's huge. Keep yourself motivated.
Okay, good tips. Now let's flip the coin. Let's talk about borrowing. We hear about good debt versus bad debt. What are some common traps people fall into with borrowing, maybe without even realizing it?
Oh, a big one, and it sneaks up easily, is living large on credit cards. It's just so easy to swipe for things you don't strictly need. But with interest rates so high right now, often over 20%, those small buys get really expensive fast. Credit card interest often compounds daily, so if you only make minimum payments, you can end up in a nasty debt cycle. It snowballs, but in the wrong direction.
Right, that compounding works against you there. What about bigger things like cars or houses?
Yeah, buying a brand new car on loan is another common one. You're paying interest, often a lot, on something that's losing value, a depreciating asset. And that habit of upgrading every few years, it really eats into your long-term wealth building. With homes, the trap is often buying too much house. Bigger house means bigger mortgage, sure, but also higher taxes, more maintenance, higher utility bills. There's a rough guideline, the 28-36 rule. Housing costs ideally under 28% of your gross monthly income and total debt under 36%. Just a benchmark to avoid becoming, house poor.
Okay, so how do we become smarter borrowers? Improve our standing? This is where credit scores and profiles really matter, right?
They are absolutely foundational. Your credit profile affects everything. Loan approvals, interest rates, huge impact. In systems like FICO in the US, your payment history, paying on time, and how much you owe are the biggest factors, like almost 2/3 of your score. The rest is things like how long you've had credit, the different types you manage, and how often you apply for new credit. But focus on paying on time and keeping balances low. That's the main game.
So for someone wanting to boost their credit profile, what are the absolute best things to do? Maybe something not super obvious.
Okay, let's boil it down. Number one, most critical. Make all your payments on time. Every single time. Set up auto pay, reminders, whatever works. Some services now even let you get credit for things like rent or utility payments, which is cool. Next, pay down balances, especially credit cards. Keep that credit utilization rate, how much you're using versus your limit, as low as possible. Under 30% is good, under 10% is even better. Also, kind of counterintuitive maybe, but don't close old accounts if they're in good standing, even if you don't use them much. Length of credit history matters. And lastly, check your credit reports regularly. You can usually get them for free. Dispute any errors immediately. Mistakes happen, even fraud sometimes, and that can really hurt your score.
Are there any apps specifically good for keeping an eye on your credit?
Yeah, definitely. Those apps we mentioned earlier, like Credit Karma and NerdWallet, are great for this. They give you free score checks, reports, explain what's affecting your score, and offer tips to improve it. Plus, they often help track net worth and spending too, so it's all kind of connected in one place.
Okay, so we've budgeted, got the emergency fund sorted, talked borrowing. Now, let's talk about actively building wealth for the future. How do we approach saving for different goals? You know, that vacation next year versus retirement way down the line.
It really starts with setting super clear goals. Think about short-term goals, say 1 to 3 years out. New phone, car down payment, that big trip. Then your long-term goals, 4 years plus, maybe a house down payment, kids' education, and definitely retirement. Having specific, tangible goals makes saving feel meaningful, gives you that reward in sight feeling.
And what's the secret sauce for actually growing that money? I hear compound interest thrown around a lot. What is it, really, and why is it such a big deal?
Ugh, compound interest. Yeah, people call it the magic of money for a reason. It's basically interest earning interest. Your initial money earns interest, and then that interest starts earning its own interest. It's like that snowball rolling downhill we mentioned.
Yeah.
It just grows faster and faster over time, works against you with debt, works powerfully for you with savings and investments. Time is the key ingredient.
Can you give us an example? Just how powerful is this compounding? It sounds almost like too good to be true sometimes.
It really hammers home why starting early is so important. Think about this. If you start saving just $100 a month at age 20, maybe earning a hypothetical 4% return compounded monthly, you could have over $151,000 by age 65. And you'd only have put in about $54,000 yourself. Now, compare that to your twin who waits until age 50. And maybe they invest more $5,000 up front than $500 a month for 15 years. By age 65, even investing more, they'd likely only have around $132,000, despite putting in way more principal, like $95,000. So starting early, even small amounts consistently, just crushes saving more later. That's why things like 401ks or other employer plans are huge, especially with matching. Free money and IRAs too.
That's a really stark reminder. Time is money, literally. So where should people actually put this money for these different goals?
Okay, for short-term goals where you need easy, safe access, government-insured deposit accounts are your best bet, like a standard savings account or maybe a certificate of deposit, a CD. CDs lock your money up for a fixed time, usually for a slightly better interest rate, but there can be penalties if you pull it out early. For long-term goals, you really want to look at tax-advantaged accounts if you can, like IRAs or 529 plans for education. And you'll likely be considering investments like stocks or mutual funds through brokerage accounts. Just remember, investments carry risk. They aren't insured like bank deposits.
Any other maybe clever or even fun ways to boost savings?
Oh yeah. Beyond just automating transfers, you could split your direct deposit, have a bit go straight to savings automatically, use credit card rewards wisely, maybe cash back directly into savings. Lots of apps have spare change roundup features. Those little amounts add up surprisingly fast. And for fun, try a challenge, like the 52-week money challenge, save $1 week 1, $2 week 2, ends up being over $1,300 in a year. Or a no-spend month to reset habits.
Okay, savings are building, we get compounding. But now, investing. For many, that world feels like this exclusive club with its own secret language. How do we demystify this for someone just dipping their toes in?
You're right, it can feel really daunting. But successful investing, honestly, it doesn't require some advanced math degree. It starts with understanding the basic building blocks asset classes and where they sit on the investment risk ladder.
Okay, tell us about this risk ladder. Where do we start?
All right, bottom rung, safest. Cash. Bank deposits, CDs. Stable but low returns often doesn't even beat inflation. Moving up. Bonds. Basically, loans you make to governments or companies. They pay you fixed interest, generally safer than stocks. Higher up, mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs. These are pools of money, professionally managed, let you own tiny bits of lots of different companies or bonds. Instant diversification. ETFs are kind of like mutual funds, but they trade on exchanges all day, like stocks.
Gotcha.
Then you have stocks, owning a small piece of a specific company. You make money if the share price goes up, or sometimes through dividends. More potential growth, but more risk. And way at the top, really for experienced folks, are alternative investments. Things like direct real estate, hedge funds, commodities like gold or oil, not usually where beginners start.
Okay, so lots of options. How do we make smart choices without getting totally lost?
Yeah. Keep it sensible. Keep it simple, especially at the start. 1. Start with the basics. Begin with broad market index funds or ETFs, like one that tracks the S&P 500. It's generally smarter to own a slice of the whole market than trying to pick individual winners. That's super hard. 2. Keep costs low. Fees eat into your returns. Every dollar in fees is a dollar not growing for you. Index funds usually have much lower fees than actively managed ones. 3. Diversify gradually. Spread your money out. Even someone like Warren Buffett suggests a simple mix, like a U.S. stock index fund and a U.S. bond index fund for most people. The key is consistency. Pick a reasonable strategy and stick with it. Don't panic sell during downturns.
What about the economy? How does that play into things? Is it like different weather needs different clothes?
That's a great analogy, exactly. In a strong economy, stocks and maybe real estate tend to do well. Bonds might lag if interest rates are rising. In a slowing economy, stocks often struggle. But bonds might do better if rates fall. Cash looks more attractive then, for stability. Then you have special situations. Uncertainty often makes things like gold look appealing, a sort of financial fallout shelter. Remember gold during the pandemic? Prices shot up. But the constant advice, no matter the forecast, diversification, don't bet everything on one type of weather.
Any final bits of investment wisdom?
Yeah, 3 things stick out. 1, never invest in something you don't actually understand. If you can't explain it simply, maybe avoid it for now. 2, ignore hot tips. They almost never work out long term, usually just noise. 3, always spread your money across different assets. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if you want personalized advice, consider a fee-only financial advisor. They charge for their time, not commissions on products, so their advice is generally unbiased.
Wow, okay. We've covered a ton today, from tracking pennies to investing for decades down the road. So, what's the big takeaway? How do we weave all these threads, budgeting, saving, borrowing, investing, into a plan that actually works for us?
The big picture really is about creating a living, breathing roadmap for your money. It's not a one-time chore you tick off a list. Your financial future honestly depends on the actions you take right now, today. It means taking all these pieces, knowing your income, thoughtful budgeting for needs and wants, building that emergency fund buffer, being smart about debt, setting up savings and investments for different goals, and making them work together in harmony, like a well-tuned orchestra.
Right, and it's definitely not a set it and forget it deal, is it?
Exactly. Regular check-ins are crucial. Life changes constantly, right? You get a raise, expenses shift, you hit a goal, you need a new one. Don't freak out if you go over budget sometimes. It happens. Use it as a chance to learn. Adjust, reprioritize, and just keep moving forward. The path isn't always straight.
So what's the mindset we should aim for here?
I think it's about having an attitude of growth, continuous learning, and also self-compassion. Be honest with yourself about spending, sure. Set realistic goals. Automate what you can. But also, give yourself grace if you slip up. We all do. Acknowledge it, learn, try again. Even tiny adjustments, made proactively and consistently, add up to a lot over time. It builds security, peace of mind. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Every single step counts.
To leave you with a thought for your own financial journey. If you approached your money with the same curiosity and desire for aha moments that you bring to learning anything new, what surprising insights might you uncover about your own financial well-being this week? So that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Our handle is 8digitalco, and we'd love to hear from you. How did you like this change in our programming? Should we do more episodes like this? Tell us in the comments. Until next time, thanks for listening and stay tuned.